perish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive.
What up, family? This is the Daily Chop. TDC in the building. What's up with you, 438?
What's up with you, man?
Not much, man. We're going to keep this damn show moving. We are your hosts, 438 Currency and Damien Deshaun. We tapping in with you, bro. A lot of shit didn't drop just this morning, man. So we're going to go ahead and just hit it. I'm going to bring it up to the stage. It's one of the things that dropped just within the last hour and a half. As we see, four-star quarterback commit from Mandarin High School in Jacksonville, decommits Tramel Jones. A lot of speculation going on there, man, by him switching and going over to the ops. But then right after that, within 30 minutes or so, you know, we get a phone bomb drop for Carter Smith out of is it Burrett High School in Fort Myers area?
Yeah, in the Fort Myers
quarterback
area.
Yeah, quarterback. So, and he was previously committed to Michigan. So, you know, seems like you got a bit of a trade-off, man. You got anything to add on with the situation as far as the Tramel situation? And then
yeah. Like a lot of players being worked up and all that. Don't be worked up. You get what I'm saying? Like he wasn't all that. I'm gonna keep it a buck. He wasn't all that. He benefited from playing on the 7-on-17. They had Jamie French, Verdell Brown, and also another 4-star wide receiver. So that kind of helped him out with his exposure. He does throw a lot of wobbly passes. You know what I mean? Then he also is coming off an ankle injury. And plus, he wouldn't see the field for 2-3 years at Florida State. You know what I mean? So Carter Smith kid is accurate. He's dual. He's mobile. He has a strong arm. He done broke almost every Lee County record when it comes to passing and rushing for the quarterback. And you feel I think we got the better option.
Okay. I don't have much to say about the Tramel situation other than something that I mentioned. It's kind of like the situation if he chooses Florida. A lot of people saying, well, he may not play. We don't know their situation as far as with Lagway. We know Lagway is the future, the present and the future for them. The situation in Florida State's a little different with so much uncertainty based off the season. The staff changes, and then you got a situation with the personnel that you have now. You got Brock, you got Luke, you got Trevor. He's coming in the class right behind him. Then you got Brady coming in the following class. So it's kind of like a crunch there where it's going to be a lot more fire going on who plays. You know, it's a little bit more of an open situation. As in Florida, you know who the set guy gonna be. It's Lagway, but anything behind him you don't know. As far as Carter Smith, I watched a little film on him. He does have a good touch on his passes. Athletic enough, you know, depending on what system, I think he could benefit. I can see why he decommitted from Michigan. Also, we know where they're going with their quarterback situation. They're looking to go. They're looking to upgrade. Not knocking Carter. It's just if you're talking Bryce Underwood, I get it. You know, I get it with that situation, man. But I mean, Carter coming in, both of them are good, Elite 11 talented caliber quarterback. So you lose one Elite 11 caliber guy, and you gain another Elite 11 caliber guy. So you know, with 1-9, I'm not mad. I hate to lose Tramel, but you follow it up with another quarterback. You know, you didn't really lose what you think you lost. You know, you needed a quarterback for this class. You got a quarterback for this class. That's all I can say about it, man. But we're gonna move on, man, and transition over to for sale. All things must go, but who? This is what we talked about and we speculate, man. It's a lot of overhaul we see. We already seen it in the coaching staff, but we don't know what's going to happen in the locker room with the roster.
Yeah.
You can have your speculation. And to be honest with you, man, I don't really know who the fuck gonna go. I can say who I want to go or who I don't want to come back. And we can throw those names out. And it's a lot of the kids, for me, it's some of them kids that strong-armed in the off-season, played games, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't need them back. If they got eligibility, go on and take a shot at the league or transfer on. That's how I feel. But you go ahead, man. What you got?
Man, from what I heard, man, the main guys you plan on retaining is basically Pat's retained group. You mainly planning on retaining you know, your core and secondary value, you know, the Charles Lester, the Kai Bates, the KJ Kirk, you know, the Edwin Joseph. I'm told no matter what Edwin Joseph is, you know, he not one of them chicks that's not allowed to lead the program.
Okay, he's a priority.
Joseph, you get what I'm saying? And as far as the young guys, I think as far as the linebackers go, everybody but Cryer, from what I was told. Everybody but Cryer will, you know, is up for grabs. On that D-line, everything up for grabs on that D-line.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is it's going to be a complete overhaul, and we basically looking at a mass exodus and then a mass amount of portal intake here.
Yeah, at least between 30 and 42 players.
Yeah. I heard. I didn't hear necessarily 42 is a solid number, but I put a kind of number at between 30 and 50. You know.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing, man. Yeah, I know Peyton has some eligibility, but with the way he's played this season, I don't think his draft stock is going to be that high. And that's a good question with him. Shaheem Brown also. We were discussing it in the space, and I think with Shaheem, he really regressed this season. I think they didn't necessarily utilize him in the best way. You know, they stay in Fuller stayed in that too high safety, and he didn't. I would have utilized him more in the box and allow him to roam around, use him on the edge a little bit, allow him to do a little bit of different things. But he's regressed so much, I don't think his draft stock is high.
Yeah, I was told Shaheem will be coming back and he'll be allowed to be a captain of the defense. He'll be allowed to make a lot of calls. So what I'm hearing, Shaheem Brown should be coming back.
That's cool. What about Jackson, man? I ain't heard nothing about him.
I'm thinking he's gonna be he going to the league, man. All signs point for him. You know, them boys gone.
Yeah, take their chances. Peyton too, then I believe.
Pat gone, so I don't think he come back.
Yeah, I think that's it. Offensive line wise, man, it's something we talked about, and we can deep dive. Now I know Maurice is a senior, so his Washington and Robert Scott, I believe, all their eligibility is exhausted. I heard Richie Leonard can get a medical kind of situation to get a year of eligibility back. As far as what they bring back on the line that's on the line now that has eligibility, I'm not sure. I mean, Byers is done too, I believe. So it's going to be a complete overhaul there as it is anyway, regardless if they have eligibility or not. But as far as the linebackers, now I meant to ask you this with the linebackers, even Nicholson up for grabs.
Yeah, I heard he was up for. He wanted to go to the portal. He can go too. Only person I heard that was safe for that linebacker position is Juice.
Correct, Juice. Okay. All right. Now we did hear some rumors about what's the name, Oklahoma and Nicholson at one point. They was trying to tamper with or something like that. Yeah. So well, I get it though. He's the kind of guy that Ray brought in. He's much more of an athlete when he came in anyway, and he played majority running back coming out of high school in California. So I guess the transition may take a little bit more longer for him. We'll see. But we're gonna move on, man. This is a good question. The whole off season, man. The whole season, and as we come into the off season, we got 2 games left. We're in a bye week now. We can start asking these questions now. Was it the coaches or was it the players? What you think, man?
My personal opinion, man, I think it's a combination of both. You get what I'm saying? Because it's some bad players on this Florida State roster, man. So it's some players that coaching can't even fix. Like these players have to go. It's some bad players on the roster. But for the most part about it, I think it's coaching. You get what I'm saying? Because a better coaching staff would at least be at 4-5 wins right now. But to be sitting here at 1-9 is fucking pathetic. And that comes from coaching the offensive line. Like Atkins he wasn't doing nothing. He just was going collecting checks. You know, it wasn't really no work on the offensive line. Fuller, the defensive scheme was horrible. A better defensive scheme, put your defense in a better position, put them in better predicaments, and at least buy you 2 extra wins.
You're right. Now I'll break them down since we got these 3 right now have currently been let go. I'm gonna start with Atkins, and we had this debate and this discussion with Atkins, man. It was a discussion of was it him or was it the strength and conditioning? Was it technique? Was it the S&C? But we really can point to the fact that he has not put a single lineman in the league, and he's been on the staff for 5 years. Not even a transfer portal guy, really. I mean, Gibbons had barely a cup of coffee, if that.
Yeah.
The other guy, what was his name? He's now an analyst in Miami.
Yeah, Love Taylor.
Yeah, Love Taylor. But anybody else, he hasn't produced any. And any of his kids in his previous classes, they either gone or they're still underdeveloped or not ready, and they're sitting on the bench. That's from early. That's from early, which I think you had left, but we discussed this. Jalen Early, for example, came in at about 330 pounds out of high school. He's now listed under 300 pounds, but yet he's been in the program for 3 years, 3 years or longer. Then you got Simmons. This is year 2 for him. You really have to question with Atkins and with particularly all 3 coaches, but we're speaking on Atkins, your evaluation. Because that year you took Armella, you took Quayshawn Sapp, Charlton, Richardson. You took like 4 or 5 linemen. Was his evaluation off? Because one of them made it. The other one transferred to FAU, transferred down. Sapp transferred to where? East Carolina. Armella can't crack the fucking lineup. So you have to look at that. His evals is shit.
I don't even think it's his evals. You get what I'm saying? Because I think some of them guys in a better predicament. If they would have chosen a different school at that time, I think they would have flourished. I think the problem is the way Atkins want his linemen to look, and it's killing their performance on the field. Because now you taking somebody like fucking Early, when most tackles usually between 315, 320, and they physically fit. You got him up under 300 pounds, and then when he getting killed on the end, you get what I'm saying, on a straight up bull rush, it's becoming a problem then, because now you depend on strictly his technique. You get what I'm saying? And your technique, the way he might be teaching technique is not as great as he thought it was, and it showed with him getting fired.
I feel you. Now I ask you this question then. Let's look at it this way, and I'm gonna paint this picture. Early is under 300 pounds, but he's also 6'4". They expected him to play tackle. Now all of a sudden they moved him to guard. This was mentioned in the space. Why are we recruiting tackles at that size, and then they end up eventually have to move to guard because you're actually recruiting guards to play tackle? That's been a continuous problem with Atkins too. It was. But
to touch on your thing, Deshaun, and your point that you made in the space the other day was, in the group chat was, like you said, Atkins is from Chicago. Chicago produces decent offensive linemen with great size. For him not to recruit a single offensive lineman from Chicago, or not even bring him in from his whole town, tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, he didn't get a single good play. I mean, I think Carnell Tate from that area. What's the kid Miami got in the last cycle? Lightfoot, that defensive end.
Yeah.
He from Chicago, the Illinois area, period. Illinois, Peoria, Chicago, all that. He never ventured up into Illinois to get any quality players. And there's quality players in the state. Never even tried. Now, I can't put that all on him because, it goes on the head coach too. You got but if you can go to Seattle, Washington to recruit somebody, why the fuck you ain't go to your hometown in Chicago to get somebody? It just doesn't make sense. Now, going to Fuller, the frustrations with Fuller with me, other than just recruiting, because we know I like my DCs to be able to recruit. Some people like guys that are a little bit more schematic. With me, with Fuller, that was a problem. It was like a double red flag for him. His schematics was basic and vanilla, but then he underwhelmed as a recruiter. I'm like, one of his biggest recruits that he tried to pull was the defensive end, what's his name, Jaden Jones?
Yeah, Jaden Jones.
From JUCO, still ain't played. Now, this kid is 6'6", 250 pounds, but can't get on the fucking field. Coming off a knee injury, that's a bad eval. Yeah, they're trying to develop the D.D. Holmes kid, who's also 6'6", 250 from the Maryland area. I think that's one of Fuller's kids. So we still waiting on that. We don't know what's gonna happen with him now. With Fuller being fired, and we know some of the backstories with that whole situation with Holmes and Holmes' situation as far as him being on the roster.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fuller. The biggest issue with me with Fuller is, the defense was great last year. You had players. Look at who's on the roster. Look what Renardo Green's doing in San Francisco. Look what Jared Verse is doing and Braden Fisk are doing in LA. You look at Jerry and Jones in Jacksonville. You look at some of the other players. Tatum Bethune made a roster. You had D'Lo. You understand what I'm saying? You had guys, NFL talent. Your defense, you have to be able to transition from that. Yeah, you take steps back, but you shouldn't have to take this many steps back. This is a fucking fall. This isn't a step. This is a fall from the last 2 seasons. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. And then you look at how they look on defense, unprepared. uninterested. And it ain't just the players. Now, the players have their role, and I'll touch on that just a minute. But as far as with the schematics with Fuller, we sit there and watch a game and question why you have your DBs playing off. If we're a trail man team, why in the hell you giving up the sticks on short yardage and you just allowing them to run a quick slant to run inside and get the first down? You can't tell me that's the fucking players being undisciplined or not paying attention to the assignment. I just can't believe that. Go ahead.
Even to touch on last year, he just had the guys last year because his scheme was still the same. His scheme was pretty average. If you noticed behind, like we was down a lot in a lot of them games, he had to adjust at halftime. But he really just had the guys. His scheme has always been kind of mid.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shade Tree Jr. I think Shade Tree Jr. got all the talents. But once he get a bet, I think he sticks. I don't think he goes to the league. His draft grade is not there.
Yeah,
I think he sticks. Yeah, but I think with this year he'll get better. With a better DC, he'll get better development. So you'll get a lot out of Marvin Jones Jr. this year.
Yeah, that's what I said about Marvin. I wasn't one of those fans that was knocking him. If I said anything, it was just about the play, and I was talking about how he crashes in too much. But that comes with being taught. And then I also took into account, even though he was at Georgia, he was injured a lot. Marvin hasn't played a lot of games. So, technically game experience, he's a young cat. So he's still trying to, that development. So that's something to watch and see. That's just like Boots. It's just like Hester, Byron Turner. I mentioned this in the space, and we'll get to it when we get to the next segment. But yeah, as far as whether the coaches or players, for me, I put it more on the coaches because it's like, is it the child or is it the adult? You know what I'm saying? I look at it that way. Yeah, it's the fucking adults. It's the coaches. It's y'all job to get these cats prepared. Some of these are still 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids, They may look like grown-ass men, but some of them, they kids, man. It's y'all job to get them in position to be the best that they can be, and they failed. They failed them kids. And in some ways, them kids, the kids failed the system too, because in particular, those players who played those games in the offseason, those money games.
Yeah.
You play the money games, I ain't got time for the money games. And then no player,
Also, to touch on back to the reason why the linebacker recruitment been down, it's the scheme that full of runs. You get what I'm saying? The linebackers that are coming out these days are more twitchy. You get what I'm saying? It's not too many downhill linebackers that are coming out in the high school ranks. Most of these linebackers are twitchy. They twitchy, more gadget type players. So by Fuller running the style of defense he's running with, most ends, hands in the ground and things like that.
Yeah.
He's limiting a lot of their ability. That's why you haven't yet to see like a player like Boots on the field.
Yeah.
Or their body type doesn't fit the scheme that Fuller was running.
Exactly. We'll come back to that real busy, but we want to say what's up, Pops Deloach.
What's up, Pops?
We're gonna be looking forward to your show, man, when it drops. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with Pops.
Make sure y'all tap in. 2025 is coming.
Yes.
You say understanding situation of football was missing this season. Yeah, I most definitely think so.
That was missing. It was definitely situational football. That's what we mentioned with the secondary playing off in situations where they should have been playing tight man press. And like you just basically giving up the booty without even doing anything. I mean, let me bring this up to a good line. Get us a good linebacker coach that can develop. We do have a good linebacker room. We have a solid room.
We have a solid room.
It's a solid room, but it's a lot of.
It can have a lot of improvement.
Yeah, it could be better. To Florida State standards, it's not a great. Yeah,
it's not that great compared to because even in the 76 days, you still produce the likes of Geno Hayes, Lawrence Timmons, these type of linebackers, Ernie Sims,
Vince Williams,
Vincent Williams,
Davis,
and those were the 76 days.
Yeah, and those were what they call the lost decade.
The lost decade. Yeah.
But we're gonna go ahead and transition, man. As we get into this season, this is signs of a serious approach. It's a lot of names being thrown out, man. We see some of the names, but you go ahead. We're gonna start with Dan Mullen, man. Give us some of your goods and your bads about this particular name of interest.
My first thing, if I'm hearing a lot of good news from about Dan Mullen, that's number one. I'm hearing a lot of good signs pointing that way. But I'm also hearing signs pointing towards another guy. But back to Dan Mullen part, he's going to fucking scheme up an excellent game plan every fucking Saturday or Friday whenever we decide to hit the field. He's kind of weird though. That's the only thing about it. You can't let him round recruits. He's very fucking weird. You get what I'm saying? Like he a cringe ass coach. but he's going to call up, or he's going to schematically call up great plays. He's going to have the QB. The QB room is going to, the quarterbacks are going to fucking produce.
Yeah.
But at the same time, do you want an ex-Gator on the staff? That's my only thing. That's my only knock to Dan Mullen.
You know what? It ain't so much about the Gator because it's a job. At the end of the day, the X's and O's, you was on point with it, bro. I can't even knock that. We all know he can draw it up. He's gonna be. I mean, some of the best spread offenses that we've seen in the last 20 years, the Tebow offense and stuff, that was all Dan Mullen. Dak Prescott got drafted because Dan Mullen. My thing is, I question certain things with his recruiting effort.
Yeah,
we've experienced that enough. I don't want another OC or DC that don't got the hunger to go out there and be that dog and get it in. Now, Dan did recruit, but to the standard, you ask Florida fans, they say some of them players didn't work out, and if you go look at some of them classes, they were inflated by a lot of kids who didn't necessarily qualify.
Yeah,
so you got to watch for that because coaches will play that game for optics. They'll get a bunch of kids that don't qualify just to bump up their class to be able to sell to the next group of kids that they got to say, look at our class, look what we're doing. It's all optics. But that's my thing about Dan. Now, I see you might see some faces on here you're not familiar with. The guy on the far right with the Duke hat, that's Kevin Johns. He's currently taking over as the OC at Oklahoma now. They fired that guy, and I think that's who stepped in. He was at Duke. I think he played a part with Riley Leonard, I believe. I believe he was at Duke. Yeah, he was the OC for Duke last year. He didn't follow Elko to Texas A&M. He ended up going to Oklahoma, and he's currently their OC now. So we don't know if he's going to get that job, if he's trying to audition, but he's a name. He has ties to Mike too. I think he was at Memphis in 2019, 2021. That's what I got my little notes here.
Okay.
So there is a connection. So these guys that's on this board that I'm showing and that we're showing, they either have a connection to Mike or they have a connection to Florida State. Or they have some connection through there, other than Dan, who just has a connection because to Mike Offer. That Mike.
Yeah, he's very close. One more thing. Dan Mullen and Mike Offer are very close outside of the program. They are very close. And then touch on the next coach on here, from what I'm basically hearing, it's either a 50-50 choice, but I really think the next, my personal opinion, this is just my personal opinion, I think the next offensive coordinator is going to be Joe Craddock from Tulane. He run the same similar type play calling as Mike. He just will come in and tweak up Mike play calling, because we not really, even though Mike says he's will give up play calling is on the table, but we really know at the end of the day, Mike is an offensive guy. He just wants some more eyes to come in and tweak up his plays and this and that. That's Joe Craddock. Tulane produces a lot of points. They score a lot of points. You have came in and got the offense rolling. I think they're 7-2, 8-2 right now. If he does come, I heard he's supposed to bring the offensive line coach. The offensive line coach was Rozier. He's a former NFL Saints, I think, head coach, and he has a great little track record. You can look him up and also check out Tulane quarterback. So we might get a 3-package deal if we get Joe Craddock. The Tulane quarterback is a freshman. He's 6'3", 204. I think had about 1,600 yards, 17 touchdowns, like 2-3 picks. We need a quarterback. But when I'm hearing about that situation, Rob, I let Deshaun go.
I'm going to go and put this out here because there's a lot of narratives about the offense in particular. People see the triple option in the offense and they assume it's Nebraska from the 90s, Navy or Army. It's not that. The concepts of West Coast, it's more of a power spread. It's about establishing the inside zone, outside zone. They run option off of it. They do things, whip routes. They do take vertical shots. All you got to do is go on YouTube and look at his coaching clinic. It's funny because a lot of the principles that he bases the offense off of is what Mike Norvell does. It's just dressed up differently. It's what Gus Malzahn does. It's what Chad Morris did, which is ironically the three offensive minds that he had inspired him when he was at Tulsa, because all three of those coaches were at Tulsa when he was at Tulsa. Mike Norvell gave him his first gig when he was a high school coach, I think at Arizona State. And then he moved on to Texas. He moved on to Pitt. He's responsible for developing Jordan Addison at wide receiver. Also was responsible for some of the early development of Xavier Worthy at Texas. He has look at what's his name, Ricky White at UNLV right now. He says as simple as this with the go-go. And the go-go is not about the tempo of the offense. It's just inspired from when he was in Washington, D.C. at, was it Howard, when he was the coach there. The go-go sound, the go-go beat. But it is his offense, and it's nothing more than just a power spread. It's power downhill running, and they use vertical shots. They utilize the short passing game, little, like you mentioned, little gadget type plays. They do have those in the triple option. His offense does not require a true dual threat quarterback. All it has to have is a willing guy that's willing to run. If you can run like we've seen Brock run, he can operate in the go-go offense. Luke can run, he can operate in the go-go offense. Those type quarterbacks. You don't consider them runners, then you take a quarterback that is a runner, like that is a little bit more like Trevor that we have on the roster now. He can still operate in that offense. If anybody wants to see anything, and it's the only thing I'm going to mention on the offense itself, go look at the stats from the quarterback in 23. Look at the stats this year. Those are two totally different quarterbacks. Last year, his quarterback threw for 3,000 yards. 17 touchdowns. He only ran for 277 yards. This year, his quarterback has like maybe 1,100 yards passing, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, but he has like 577 yards rushing. It's two different quarterbacks. One is more of an improviser, passer, field general, and the other one was much more of a scrambler runner. That's what he has this year. He can plug and play and fit any personnel to the scheme. Any kind of quarterback to that scheme can fit it. That's my thing with Brendan Marion. I like him. I like his offense. I think it gives us a fresh look on something. I think we need an overhaul. I'm not necessarily comfortable with the little things that I did see from Tulane. I'm not knocking Joe Craddock, but my argument with Joe Craddock is this. What did his offenses at Arkansas do? Because he was the OC at Arkansas at one point. When he was in the SEC, what was he doing when he was at Arkansas? That's what I would want to know. I don't want to hear what he did at Tulane. I know what's the name did when he was at Pitt, being a wide receiver coach. I know what Gogo did at Texas, and I know what he's done being the primary OC at UNLV.
My thing is Brendan Marion is I think the go to tally thing kind of blew it up a little bit. His bidding war from what I'm hearing is way too got too high, and I think we kind of go get your money on. You get what I'm saying? But I think we done kind of
overplayed it.
We done overplayed it, and his value done rolled.
Blew up.
Yeah, because I'm hearing like Oklahoma.
Yeah, I heard Oklahoma.
I'm hearing Oklahoma. I'm hearing certain schools like USC. I'm hearing a lot of the big time schools with the same amount of money as us or more.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying. And once they comes to that bidding, Florida State gonna play it.
Yeah, you're right. Now for the two guys in the back, I'll let you know the one on the right with the Stanford gear. That is Mike Bloomgren. He is a Tallahassee native, Florida State grad. He's currently the OC at Stanford. So if you want to know what his offense looks like, what's the receiver they have? Altamore? I can't pronounce his name. But it's that receiver they have. There's much more. He has experience with the Jets. He was a head coach too when he coached at Rice. So if you want to go look at some 2019 or 2018 to 2024, I believe, or 2023 Rice film, to see what his offense looks like, or some Stanford film. That's what you'll see. But go ahead. You had something you want to add?
Hey, I just want to see what Rawson say. Shout out to my boy Rawson, man. Rawson say, true, Dugas couldn't even teach the route tree, but you got the route receivers running choice routes. Now you wonder why we throwing the ball into the stands and shit like that,
man. But other than Bloomgren, like I said, he's Tallahassee native. He's coached he was a graduate assistant in early 2000s at Alabama. He's been the quality control, offensive quality control, and an analyst for the Jets. And he was the assistant offensive coordinator for the Jets in 2010. He's been at Stanford in 3 different stints. 2011 to 12, 2013, he was on that Stanford. He was the OC and the O-line coach. So he could be an O-line coach. Stanford has a history of producing some decent offensive linemen. Also, he's the assistant head coach and the OC O-line coach in 2014, 2017, and then from 2018 to 24, he was the head coach at Rice. That's Mike Bloomgren. The other guy that you see on the left, that's Tino Sunseri. Anybody who follows Florida State knows his dad was a part of the staff in 2013. I think 2014, Sal, famous for being a great player at Pitt, coached at Alabama under Saban, was responsible for some of those early defensive ends that they had, or defenses and defensive lines that they had in the mid 2000s. Tino, I think, was here also he was a quarterback at Pitt. I think he was here as an analyst at one point. But that's Tino Sinceri. That's another guy that I've heard thrown out there.
Okay.
Somebody said Kevin Arnett in the space. I asked him a question about Kevin Arnett. Arnett, I believe, I'm trying to remember where he is. Oh, he was at Mississippi State. Yeah, I think it was a DC though. That's a name we can talk about in our next as we transition to our next one. This is a good question here. This is where we get into the defensive side of things. I didn't want to focus on too many names because this is one name that's in particularly some pros and cons we can weigh in. But you go ahead and get your stuff off first, man.
Yeah, man. This is Chris Hampton from Oregon. He's Oregon defensive co-defensive coordinator. From what I heard, he helped Dan Lanning make a lot of adjustments. His halftime adjustments is crazy. Right now he's making like $880,000. I heard, for defensive coordinators around between 1.6 and 1.9 million. I heard he met with Mr. Knight, the AD and things like that. He had a meeting. So, you know how that go when they have a meeting. It's either, hey, I'm getting a pay raise, or I'm letting you know I'm taking another job. So this is me personally, from what I'm hearing, I believe this is our next defensive coordinator.
I wouldn't be mad at it. The only one question I have is the question when you take a DC that's a co-DC when the head coach is known to be a DC. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to, those were questions that were asked about Kirby, so you got to give it a fair shot. It was asked about Lanning. Because is it Kirby's defense or was it Lanning's defense when he was at Georgia?
Yeah.
You can ask the same question to him, but he has a good background. I think some of his I don't think he crossed paths with Mike, but the Lanning relationship that Mike has with Lanning, you could see where that situation, I would, Lanning's going to give a positive vouch, positive words. He's going to vouch for him. He's not going to be one of those negatives towards Mike because of their past and their relationship, So yeah, I like him. And then the Kevin Arnett guy I mentioned, he was at Mississippi State. I think he was the coach, became the head coach as a interim. I think when the Pirate passed, and he was there for a little while. But I think he's at. I don't want to say not Ole Miss. I can't remember, but I have to look it up real quick.
One more thing, Deshaun. The most Florida State fans, I know you hear co-defensive coordinator. Just calm down. He is nowhere near Harlan Barnett. You don't have to worry about that. He's 10 times, 100 times better. He's a great mind, and he also can recruit, and he closes.
Yeah, and that's what we need. We need a closer on the defensive side of the ball other than Santane. It's all right to have the back four, but if your front seven ain't worth shit, I'm not saying the players ain't worth shit. They ain't getting the coaching and the development, and the scheme ain't worth shit. That's what I'm saying.
And we will be physical. We will be very physical.
Yeah.
He has a very physical mindset. That's what he will bring, that Dan Lanning grit, physical mindset.
But yeah, he was just to touch on him. Kevin Arnett was at Mississippi State at one point, but that's another name that was thrown out there. But we can go ahead and transition on. And we're going to shift a little something different here. We're going to take it to the NBA just a little bit. Why does this motherfucker keep getting the job, man? Since Boston, since that championship, we didn't see him in Cleveland. Not Cleveland. We didn't see him with the Clippers. Then he went all the way over to Philly. Now he in Milwaukee. And it seems like everywhere you go, eventually that shit just falls apart. You done heard rumors about Giannis wanting to go, numerous other shit, the relationship, they had Lillard, all of this shit, man. It just ain't working. And it's almost like his system is outdated also. So I don't understand it. I can't be mad at him, but goddamn, what you got though, bro?
Man, this motherfucker got that. He got to know who was at them Diddy parties. I know more important for him. Between him and Taggart, them motherfuckers gonna keep a job.
Man, you better say that shit, bro.
I'm telling you, man. Listen, this man, that 2007 championship have carried him 17 motherfucking years.
You ain't lying. They say
he done had a loaded teams everywhere he went. You done had fucking Embiid.
Yeah.
You got Giannis, Damian Lillard. You just can't coach. Out there, dog. You got it one time, but you just not that good of a coach, man.
And you look who he had on that one team, though, bro. He had KG, top 75. Paul Pierce, and he's 75. Ray Allen, 75. Then you add Rondo. Then you add Perkins on that bitch. I'm like, yeah, he had a stack. It's like, he had a stack roster after stack roster. And the only time his ass ever won it was that one time he got back to the finals and Kobe and them dealt with that.
And Kobe got his ass on the planet.
Got him the fucking, and he ain't smelt that bitch since. This man that had Chris Paul. You said Chris Paul. He done had
Blake Griffin.
Yeah, Blake Griffin. It had goddamn DeAndre Jordan and B. Goddamn, you name it, man, and he can't get over that fucking hump. It took four damn top 75 all-time players to get him over the hump. Since then, he ain't done shit.
Nothing, man.
Same fucking story, bro. Same story.
And then I heard he an asshole.
Yeah, I heard that too. But he got his son. He got his son in the league. Got him a cup of coffee. Trash.
His son didn't even want to play for shit. Yeah. You know it's bad when your son don't even want to play for you.
Yeah, and just to update, they are 4-8 now, and not 3-8.
They 4-8. They won. Yeah.
Yeah, they won. So they 4-8, but they still sitting at 12th place. But it's a long season, so we'll see. But we'll transition on, man. All right, man. You can give me a little bit more depth news here. There's been some things reported and starting to break about PnB Rock and that situation, and that he was possibly set up by employees. I heard something and read some things about they kind of delayed his food, like 40 minutes, I guess, to give him time, or give those time to get in and do what they needed to do. But what you got to touch on with this subject, man, because that's what I heard. I heard it was a setup from, we thought it was the girl he was there with or whatever, the female, and there was speculations that he was set up there. But it's new news breaking that it may have been employees at the restaurant or an employee that set him up, and they kind of held him there and delayed his meal. If you didn't hear me the first time, just letting you know again.
Yeah, from doing my homework and things like that. Yeah, I heard he even showed, I guess, the person that set him up, he showed him love or took a picture with him, whatever, before they delayed his food by 40 minutes, gave him time to call the daddy and the son, gave them time to prepare. From what reading the report, they say when they ran in there, they just asked him to give it up. By the time he didn't even have a chance to give up anything because he just got shot. And then I guess he snatched his jewelry off his neck, and it's just a tragic situation, man. And yeah, man, you can't even go out to eat. At this point, when you at that stage, you have to just send somebody there to get your food, or if you got enough money, you just got to buy the whole restaurant and have
shut it down. Yeah,
outside. Yeah, have security waiting on the outside for you and things like that, man. Because to take this boy's life over some jewelry was crazy, man. It's ridiculous. Also, the shout out to his girlfriend, man. Hope she's doing okay. My condolences to her, because the whole world jumped on her thinking her picture, set him up. And I know she probably went through a lot. She was receiving death threats, and it was crazy, man. So I'm wishing my best, my prayers to her, my condolences, man. Shout out to PnB Rock and his family, man. He was a great artist, great life, and I hated it. We know it had to end, man, like that. That's tragic. That's tragically horrible.
When it's just a word to the wise. It's like sometimes, man, you just can't go back and move the same way you did. Life is always about evolution and growing. And when you get to certain places, man, you can't, one, bring everybody with you. Two, you can't always go back. It doesn't mean you sell out. You just have to find ways to help the situation or stay in the situation a different way. You just have to move different, basically. Like you said, man, he should have known. Just got to move different.
Yeah. One more thing, Deshaun. It's not even that. It's just make sure you always be aware of your surroundings, man. Always think about the what if. They stop being so trustworthy of people, because you never know what people's intentions was. I think about what if his mind was on some, damn, my food taking too long. I don't really, I like that vibe. Let me get on and get up out of here vibe. Just kind of have more sense of a feel of a situation and stop thinking just because you got a gun, you're untouchable, because anybody can get the ups on you at the right time, man. You're right, bro.
You're right. All right. We move on from a tragic situation to another, even to a tragedy. This is a living tragedy right here that's going on. Ray J's situation is crazy, because I had to do some digging just to figure out who he's beefing with. Because you got one reason he's claiming he was shot at, and people speculating that this beef has to do something with the interview he did about Diddy and then with Diddy's kids. But then he's beefing with a pastor now too, Pastor Jamal Bryant.
Yeah.
So before we touch on it, bro, I'm gonna take this down. I'm gonna bring up a video just to see this bro spazzing out, bro.
To Brian.
Shout out to Mad TV. Give him credit for
Javon Alvarez. But if y'all play that interview, somebody getting snatched off the pulpit. Don't play the interview. It's not clear. It was out of bounds. Me and Pastor Brian need to talk because the way I was treated was dirty and illegal. And I don't like it. And I don't want nobody to play that interview. I don't care if you from the church or not. Like be respectful and do people right. Don't call people out their name and don't make people feel like they're not safe in a place where they thought they were safe.
Just tried to shoot me and tried to kill me. And you want me to apologize? Fuck you. Just tried to shoot me. Tried to kill me. You want me to apologize? Fuck you.
Crying. Tell little boys contributing and planting seeds to their dysfunction. Stop all that crying. Boys don't cry. And boys who don't cry end up being men who don't cry. When we have scriptural evidence that Jesus looked over the city, and when he looked over the city, Jesus wept.
Hey, man, listen, Deshaun, it's like them boys had some booty parties going on with each other. They in their feelings, and the pastor went to sending shots. Ray J out there getting shot at by the pastor. Oh my God, this shit is serious.
Now, I don't know if it's the pastor, but it's something with him. It's a video interview that he did that Ray J does not want out. He don't want it talked about. He don't want it released. So it's something on there. And like we said, we didn't see Ray J as one of those guys that hung at the party. We didn't see him with Diddy. Everybody gone silent. You know, let's ask you this: since One Wish, how much access has this Negro had, man? This nigga, you look at it, he got show after show. He ain't getting it based off his sister, you know, because Brandy as an artist is a legendary artist, but she ain't been making hits in a little while either. So you know how that is, and you know all the rumors. People do things and stay on.
The tech shit in his adventures, he be making, you know, the glass.
Yeah,
and all that.
yeah. Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, he said by Diddy's sons was what? By Diddy was where I could have been Diddy's sons.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's speculation either way. It's speculation and it's alleged kind of stuff going on either way.
Yeah, hey, Deshaun, either way it go, he got that community mad at him.
Yeah, that community on his they mad, bro. They own him. No Diddy.
No Diddy.
But we're gonna move on and we're gonna give some condolences and some thanks and appreciation to this actor, Tony Todd. Yeah. Better known as Candyman. If you're my age, you knew him. He played a small role in Lean on Me. He was known for the movie Platoon. I knew him from that movie also. He was in The Crow, The Rock. He played in that. I'm just naming some of the movies that we all know him from, but especially Candyman is where everybody's mostly gonna know him as a horror. I think what was that other movie? Like 5 or 6 movies.
Final Destination.
Yes, thank you. He played the mortician. Yeah, he was the mortician. He was famously known as he's a horror legend. Let's just put it that, a horror legend, Tony Todd. Condolences to his family. Rest in energy, rest in positivity, bro. OG, we really appreciate everything that you had to offer to the entertainment industry. And may your family and everybody be blessed. And we really thank you for all your contributions.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Tony Todd, man. I want to say rest in peace to Tony Todd. Give him my condolences. Most importantly, man, he scared the hell out of me during my childhood, man. He had me scared as hell, man. He had me scared as hell, man. Anytime I heard Candyman name, boy, I ran like hell, man. Shout out to Tony Todd, man.
Well, you know what time it is, man. You know what time it is. It's a little time for that certain time to get our picks in, get ready for the weekend. So I'm gonna go and let them roll that cut. right, as we begin, we're gonna go on and bring it up.
Yeah, man. First game, man. We're going Texas over Arkansas. We take the minus 15.5. Texas over Arkansas. Texas will roll. Texas not losing no more this year. They're looking to make a statement towards the SEC championship game. So take Texas, man.
All right. Transition to next up. We got Colorado and Utah. As we
take Colorado minus 10 over Utah. Utah failed to score points. Colorado always scores points. Coach Prime has caught the bus rolling. Look for the bus to play defense, play physical, play fast, and actually to blow Utah out. Take Colorado minus 10. That's a sweet lick.
Okay.
Next up, we got Liberty versus UMass. Liberty has been rolling, producing a lot of points. Take Liberty to win this game. I like this game to go 27 to 10. UMass struggles. UMass always gets blown out. They struggle to really score points against well-based defenses. So take Liberty.
Okay. All right. It's going to transition here. And we're going to touch on that next game. This is one of the big ones. Going to be see who bounces back here.
Yeah, take LSU. I know even if DJ Lagway played, take LSU. Brian Kelly is known for bouncing back off of embarrassing loss. They just got destroyed by Alabama. They're going to respond heavy. Look for them to come out and score a lot of points. This is an easy bet. This is a sweet lick right here, too. Take LSU. Bet.
All right, we transition to James Madison, Old Dominion.
Yeah, this game right here, even Old Dominion scores a lot of points. James Madison scores a lot of points. This is another sweet bet. Take the over. This game is easily going to be 34-20, 34-31, 38-31. This is going to be a high-scoring game. Make sure you take over this free money right here.
That's what's up. And last but not least, man.
Yeah, UGA over Tennessee. Take the money line. Nico is out, so don't take the money line because the money line jumps. So you actually gonna take the points, but UGA is gonna roll, especially off an embarrassing loss to Ole Miss. Look for Kirby to come out smart. How them boys dominated. Tennessee is a much run-heavy team. Without the running game, they're gonna have to rely on the freshman quarterback to pass. Look for Georgia to turn the ball. Look for Georgia to make them turn the ball over consistently, and Georgia to roll, man. That's another free money. This is a free bet. This is a nice parlay, actually, to be honest with you.
All right, that's what's up, and that concludes. All right, man. As we break from this segment, it's time to get into our YNs, man. Let's introduce our YNs of the week, but we can't do it without hitting our segue, man. All right, first up, this is Tristan Givens, defensive end, outside linebacker, wide receiver, kind of tight end hybrid athlete out of Columbus, out of Carver High School, Columbus, Georgia. Athlete, one of those typical guys, kind of built like Michael Williams a little bit. That's at Georgia, who also was from Columbus and played at Hardaway High School. He's big like a tight end as a wide receiver. Think of a big frame. He's 6'4", probably about 220 right now. But he's definitely can play stand up. Typical kind of guy you see that would end up at a Georgia or at Alabama in a 3-4, 3-3-5 kind of scheme that we talked about with some of our defensive ends on FSU. Yeah. He really gets after it, aggressive nature, good program. This is probably the best program in my area outside of Phoenix City Central High School. These are the two best programs, and those are the two best programs in my area. Carver consistently puts players at D1. They got players that go to Bama, Georgia, and so on. We've had a player back in the past that came from this high school. They put players. This is a program that puts players in the pros. Georgia fans will know the Dale McGee coach that's coaching at Georgia State now. This is where he got his start from. I think he went there. Then he coached. He went to Auburn and came back and coached there. Built the program up after Coach Flowers. But on this kid here, high point, tall frame. I've seen him, if he plays offense, he's definitely a hybrid kind of tight end, big body wide receiver. more so I would say tight end, but as a defensive on the defensive side of the ball, man, he really has a good technique. And I see him as an outside rush-in kind of guy. Sets the edge. He's still raw. I would because I say the competition overall that they play in the city, it isn't all that hype until he gets outside or starts playing more outside programs other than maybe north side. Yeah, but as you see, he's strong, big, long frame, long arms. He gets after it, man. He's really a talent. He's a class of 2026. Okay, let me bring this down. Switch over to you. Okay, we're about to bring you back up, brother. There we go. And this your guy.
All right, man. Yeah, this is Freddie Stevenson, man. Defensive tackle, defensive end out of Spruce Creek High School. This is the best defensive lineman in the 2026 class, in my opinion. He has well over 15 plus sacks, over like 50-something tackles, straight beast, 4-star. He got great hands, great strength, tremendous power. He was at Mainland previously with Christian Hudson. Christian Hudson is currently going to Colorado. Freddie Stevenson is a dominant player. He also plays, I think, two sides of the ball, if I'm not mistaken. He plays tight end too, if I'm not mistaken. But as you can see right here, he's going to completely dominate, destroy the competition. He also plays in one of the hardest. He also plays one of the hardest schedules around. So they plays a lot of great competition in teams like Gully, Jones, Seminole, and he always produces every game. He produces every game. Got great hand, great strength. Dr. Freddie Stevenson.
Shout out to the YNs of the week. We really appreciate it. We're gonna make sure we keep exposing and bringing exposure to everybody, and to those under the radar, those above the radar. Everybody.
If you're YN and you're shining, I'm gonna find you. You feel me? We're gonna put you out here.
For sure. We're gonna make sure we always bring exposure to the Jets. All right. Well, you know what time it is, man. It's almost closure time, so we're gonna go on and hit it. Let's start with this man right here.
Yeah.
Bruh, I ain't gonna lie. I have been competitive when playing games, whether it's live sports or playing video games, whatever you playing 2K, but ain't nothing gonna get me that mad to where I pick my baby up and throw him or her against the wall. Not only is this a dummy, bruh, your mind is fried, and you look at him. He looks like
a straight tweaker, a young junkie on that whippet, a fucking base head. He need to be unalived immediately. That shit's pathetic. Over a 2K game, go get a fucking job. He's a fucking loser. They need to bury him up under jail, and the niggas in jail need to be whooping his motherfucking ass while he in there.
For sure. Now I'm gonna go ahead and read a little bit of this article. He is a YN himself. Jalen White. Hold on. His name is Jalen White, 20, has been arrested on child abuse charges in connection with severe injuries his son suffered per police. A Wisconsin father has been accused of throwing an 8-month-old child at a wall because he was losing a video game while carrying the child. Police in Milwaukee say they responded to a report of possible child abuse at a local hospital last week. Jalen was arrested on charges of child abuse, child neglect, according to the records. That is ridiculous. You that crashed out, bro. For real? You that crashed out over a video game that you throw your child. 8 months? 8 months, bro. Let's put that in perspective. 8 months. Yeah, that's definitely a crash out, right?
So I say he a crash out, he need to be unfucking alive. He's a fuck nigga, and that shit's pathetic.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. All right.
Yeah.
2 more crash out. To my guy EST Sammy. I don't know what you own, but you stood on it. I don't know if your page was hacked. I see who you were replying to, but you quoting whole A, niggas, and that ain't cool. And you stood on it, and then calling folks soft. I don't get it, bro. But you my crash out of the week. That's my crash out, bro. Don't let this timeline shit make it too sweet, bro. As my man 438 would say, sometimes, bro, you need to log off or find you something safe to do. Because sooner or later, you're going to find the wrong people that you say certain things to, and they're going to deal with it. But you go ahead and touch on yours, brother.
Man, my other crash out there is Zach Blowstein. He said, I tried to reach Tremel myself over the last few days, but he has not been responsive, which is unusual for him. First and foremost, you cockeyed motherfucker, you probably was down the wrong motherfucking number. You probably was over here looking over here, down over there. He wasn't answering the motherfucking phone. And why would he? You weird as hell. You gonna ask the same stupid ass questions that he can fucking already tell you the answer to before you call. That's why he dodging you.
Yeah. We need to stop this damn kind of media, man. I'll throw one more out there. I'm gonna give Clay Fink one more crash out of the week. I don't care what the situation is. I ain't even gonna do it because I don't want to get authorization from that person. But you went in the female's DMs, bro, and you coming back. I don't care what they did. You coming back and you talking about who are you and this and that, bro. It is what it is. We know you post stats. We know you like to do. I done chopped it up as far as an interview with you. So you talking greasy, but you ain't jumping in you jumping in a female DM. You ain't jumping in no male DM. You get a crash out for that alone, bro. You coming there talking about who the F are you and this and that. Well, they calling you on your shit because I follow you. I do follow Kentucky basketball, and I'm letting you know. I don't see you crashing out on them. Even when Cal's sitting there, we done had situations where the Kentucky basketball team was lost in the first round. You ain't posting stats and talking shit then. But every time FSU, you got something to say. So let's keep that shit a buck, man. And that's all I'm going to say. Don't be a fast test dummy all your life. But go ahead, folks.
I want to speak on the way Clay talking about the Clay situation. Yeah, bro, just keep that shit strictly, keep it professional, you know what I mean? Just keep it your job. But once you go to hopping in people's DMs and, saying a little extra, that's kind of personal, you feel me? You don't always want to go that route. So just keep, keep your thing, keep it professional, you know what I mean? And just keep it moving.
Man, but that closes us out, bro. We did another good one. We like to appreciate everybody. We really do appreciate our followers. Make sure that you once again like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Follow us.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, man. Shout out to my other co-host Steve, man. Shout out to Breezy, man. They was absent. We
had to get it in and do what we do.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to the Daily Motherfucking Chop. We the voice of the people. We're gonna keep speaking for y'all. We're gonna keep making it do what it do.
That's what it is. We really appreciate everybody. Also, hey, shout out to everybody that fuck with us. Renegade Report. Shout out to Double D. That's Football Podcast, D's Corner. Also, love to everybody. We really appreciate everybody who's fucking with us. Thank y'all. And we out.
We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive.